Every gardener has that list of plants that looked amazing in the seed catalog or on social media, super productive, low maintenance, tastes amazing, only to become a total disappointment in real life. After years of trial and error in raised beds, containers, and field plots, I've learned that not every crop deserves a spot in the garden. Some are divas, some are space hogs, and others are just plain overrated. So today, I'm being brutally honest about the 7 crops I'll never plant again, and what I'm growing instead. 1. Cucumbers, the wrong kind, disease magnets in disguise. Don't get me wrong, I love cucumbers, but those standard slicers like Marketmore and Straight 8, they're heartbreakers. Every single season they start strong and then crash hard once powdery mildew hits. Even with neem oil and perfect spacing, it's just a matter of time before the vines collapse into a sad, moldy mess. What I do instead, I switch to compact, disease-resistant varieties like Diva and Piccolino, and, grow them vertically for better airflow. Or, sometimes, I just skip cucumbers altogether and grow Armenian cucumbers, technically melons. They laugh in the face of mildew and heat. So, here's the thing about determinate tomatoes, they make some big promises but honestly, the yield can be pretty tiny. Determinates like Roma or Bush Early Girl are always marketed as compact, fast, and tidy. In reality though, they're kind of one-hit wonders. They just pump out a single flush of fruit and then, well, they just stop. If you happen to miss that peak harvest window, you're pretty much left with a tired plant that just sits there taking up space but doesn't really produce anything. So, here's what I do instead. I go for indeterminate cherry tomatoes like Sungold or Black Cherry. These little gems will fruit for months on end, resist splitting, and are forgiving of just about any watering mistake you might make. It's like they just keep giving and giving, you know? Alright, let's talk about the space hog of all space hogs. Sweet corn. Sure, sweet corn sounds romantic, those tall stalks waving in the summer wind, but unless you're growing a whole field of it, it's pretty much a losing battle. It's a lot of work for not much reward, honestly. Growing corn comes with its own set of challenges. It needs to be planted in blocks for proper pollination, and it devours nitrogen like there's no tomorrow. Plus, it attracts everything from raccoons to aphids. It's like a magnet for garden trouble, really. By the time you get a few cobs, the pests have already declared victory. It's like they've thrown a party on your corn, and you're just a guest. So, here's what I do instead. I grow baby corn or popcorn varieties in containers just for fun. And you know, I use that freed up bed space for high-yielding greens like kale or Swiss chard. They keep producing for months, which is pretty awesome. Garlic, and it's number 4 on my list of overrated and space-wasting crops. Well, unless you grow it right. I know this one will ruffle some feathers, but hey, hear me out. So, garlic takes about 8 or 9 months to mature, and honestly, it hogs a lot of space through the winter. In the end, you might only get like a handful of bulbs per square foot. If your soil isn't loose, rich, and perfectly drained, the bulbs just end up small and stunted, you know? What I do instead is, I grow green garlic, pulling it early, kinda like scallions, and also garlic chives for those continuous harvests. You still get that same savory punch, but it takes just a fraction of the time and effort. Ah, bulb onions. They're truly a season-long waiting game. You know, every year I'd plant sets or seeds, nurture them for months and then, well, I'd end up with onions barely bigger than golf balls. It's kind of disheartening, isn't it? So, what's the reason behind this? It's because onions are incredibly day-length sensitive. This means if you don't plant the right type for your latitude, they just won't bulb properly. It's a bit of a tricky situation, honestly. So, here's what I do instead. I grow bunching onions and Egyptian walking onions. They're perennial, easy to care for, and, well, they're actually productive. It's a much more rewarding choice, if you ask me. You can harvest green tops year-round, and they practically take care of themselves. It's pretty amazing how low maintenance they are. Carrots, the soil snobs. You'd think carrots look so simple, just sprinkle seeds and wait, right? Well, wrong, it's a bit more complicated than that. Carrots demand light, fluffy, stone-free soil to grow straight and uniform. In clay or compacted beds they fork, twist, and disappoint. It's crucial to give them the right conditions. So, what I do instead is grow radishes and beets. They're just faster, way more forgiving, and you get both roots and greens out of the deal. Plus, radishes are awesome because they help break up heavy soil naturally, kinda doing the prep work for future carrots if you ever want to give them another shot. Number 7. Potatoes. Honestly, they're like the hidden blight factory in your garden. Potatoes are a lot of fun that first year. I mean, digging them up really feels like a treasure hunt. But you know, disease buildup, especially blight and scab, can turn them into a nightmare if you stick with them long term. They're also heavy feeders, take up tons of space, and if you don't rotate your crops pretty aggressively, potatoes can really destroy your soil structure. So, what I do instead is grow sweet potatoes. Honestly, they're just beautiful, super pest resistant, and you get both edible greens and roots from them. Plus, sweet potatoes really thrive in containers and raised beds, and you don't have to deal with all the extra fuss, you know? The lesson here is simple: grow smart, not hard. These 7 crops, well, they taught me that gardening success isn't really about trying to grow everything, it's about choosing the right things for your space, your soil, and honestly, your patience level. Just because something looks good in a seed ad doesn't mean it belongs in your garden. When I stopped chasing trends and focused on hardy, multi-purpose and productive plants, my harvest tripled, and my frustration disappeared. If you've been fighting with the same underperforming crops year after year, maybe it's time to do the same. Cut the dead weight, grow smarter, and give your soil to the plants that actually earn their keep. Final thought. Gardeners don't fail, they learn. Every never-again crop teaches you what your garden truly needs, and once you stop chasing hype, you start growing abundance.